host, SET. Thank you for tuning in from wherever you're joining me from. Bridging the Gap is a podcast where I interview artists and people in and around creative industries about their journeys, their careers, what motivates them, and how they've ended up where they are today. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. Thank you for joining us. If you're a repeat listener, thank you as well. I really appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for the support. This is probably going to be my last episode for this year, this season of the show. I might have one more coming up. I was supposed to have 10 total this time around, but there was a hiccup with one of my guests, so that episode is probably not coming out. We're trying to see if we can re-record it some other time. So if that does happen, I will probably have at least one more episode coming out before the year ends. But if not, this will probably be my last one until we reconvene for season 4. So thank you all again for the support. I really do appreciate it. Um, Anytime somebody comes up to me and tells me, something positive about the podcast, how they enjoy it, whether they liked one of the guests or the questions that were asked, anything, I really do appreciate. I appreciate all the feedback that I get. It really lets me know kind of what's working and how to keep this show going and progressing. I've definitely got a lot of things that I'm working on that I'm excited to put into motion before the next season starts. So, yeah, your support is truly invaluable. I'm grateful for it, and I look forward to keeping the show rolling and, growing it and hopefully getting bigger and better. So, again, thank you all. I'm super grateful. So, my guest today is one of my really, really good friends. Um, our friendship even started because of him posting his music back on SoundCloud way back in 2014, and I stumbled upon it, and that's how I reached out to him and we started talking through that, and we've been boys ever since. So I was really happy to have Le Mav join me on the show today. Um, he's someone that I've been meaning to have on for a while, but I also believe in waiting for the right time to do things, and this just felt like it was the right time, especially with where he's at kind of personally and creatively. So it was really great. As some of you may know, he is a producer. Now he's an audio engineer. He's a DJ. He is a songwriter, and he's a Grammy nominated producer. Actually, let me get it right. He's a Grammy nominated producer, and he's definitely been one of the producers and artists that's just been instrumental in kind of shaping the sound of the Alte subculture or genre, or however you want to describe it. He's played a big part in that. He's produced for Cruel Santino, he's produced for Odunsi, he's produced for ALO. He's worked super closely on multiple projects and singles with Teiwar. They have a musical collective called Gold together. He's been a part of the Ado Sounds Collective with DOC, Higo, Harry. I feel like I'm forgetting a couple names, but those producers as well that have also been really instrumental in shaping what the Alte sound is and pushing music forward for a whole new generation of Nigerian artists. So yeah, it was dope to have Mav on the podcast. We had a lot of fun. We just chopped it up like we normally do. We spoke about just his career, his approach to production, and how he made the decision to start developing himself in other areas outside of production, and talking about his forays into songwriting, into DJing, and other things like that. So I feel like you're going to get a pretty good understanding of who he is as a creative person, and hopefully this helps any aspiring producers out there. So yeah, I really hope you guys enjoy this episode. Again, thanks for the support. Make sure you follow us on socials, bridging_the gap pod, bridging_the gap pod. And stay tuned. I will definitely be communicating whenever I'm coming back with newer episodes. So yeah, I'm looking forward to what's to come. So yeah, that's enough for me. Let's get into the episode. It's time to bridge the gap with Le Mav. All right, let's do this. So we're back with another episode of Bridging the Gap. Today I am joined by really one of my good friends. This is one of my brothers. He is a super talented producer. He's produced for everybody. He's produced for Tiwa Savage. He's produced for Cruel Santino, Fouls, Odunsi, Psycho YP. He's worked with your faves. He is their favorite producer. He's Grammy nominated, a Grammy nominated producer. Gotta give him his props on that. So yeah, I'm really happy to be joined today by my boy, Lamav. Welcome to the show, bro.
Thanks for having me, man.
Of course, it's been a long time coming, so I'm glad we're able to make it happen.
God is good.
All right, so I know that even before you got started with production, your musical background is in the piano. And I'm curious, you can even see if you're watching this, got the keyboard right there. I'm curious as to how did starting off with like piano kind of shape your artistic identity?
um, it basically colored the way I saw music, like um, because the first instrument I learned was piano, and then learning other instruments just kind of broadened my view of what music was. But piano is where most people start, so it gives you like a kind of linear understanding of music. Like if you go up on the piano, that's higher. If you go down on the piano, it's lower. And then but the way I learned was very interesting because I had lessons, but I never actually like paid full attention. So I remember they would try and teach me like sheet music, and I'd be like, yeah, okay, let's play it. So whatever I was learning, they would play, and I'd play by ear. So I wasn't actually to this day I still can't read sheet music, but I was playing everything by ear. So that is how I learned piano, and then that's just how I kind of approached everything in music is to learn by doing and experiencing rather than having like um knowledge of what it is, or especially theoretical knowledge of what it is. But as I've been teaching myself guitar, I've been teaching myself with the actual music theory. So now I'm learning music theory and all these things that I'm doing or have been doing. Now I can put the proper name to them. So yeah, I think to answer your question, the way I learned piano made me kind of flexible because I was just doing things because they sounded nice, not necessarily because they were the right thing to do musically. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. I think that's a good breakdown of it. And it always kills me that you can't read sheet music, even though you're really proficient.
If
So you started producing 2014, I think.
you can call it that, yeah. I don't
Yeah.
I can't consider what I was doing before producing, so yeah.
Well, let me not say producing, but like putting music out. Because I think that was the same year that we met, and we met because you were putting music on SoundCloud. And I
Ah,
feel like
that,
that year.
yeah, that's cool.
So what was it that led you to start, making your own beats and instrumentals and then also putting them out?
Making them, I don't know, it was like an obsession. I just like making and listening back to things like, and what I would do back then when I was still learning, if I had a song I liked, I would like reimagine what it would sound like if I made it, and then some things that I would have done differently. And that led me to now start making newer, more different things. But yeah, what led me to start putting it out? I think I at some point I just got tired of like sending it to the same five, six people. So like I beg, I'm gonna upload it here if you want to go and listen, go and listen. But it was like one of them things that you when I was doing, I didn't know what the ramifications would be. But that basically led to me meeting so many people from just putting stuff online.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. So on on meeting people online, I guess how did those relationships start developing? It was people just reaching out like, "Hey, I like your stuff."
Yes. Um, Funny enough, some people were like, "Oh, can I use this? Is this free?" And I thought they meant free, like, can they use it? I didn't know they meant free. I was like, I'm gonna use it. I'm not gonna pay you. So it
Yeah.
was like one of those things. Um, yeah. So, but it did lead to me meeting other producers because I wasn't necessarily making the what you would expect a producer from Nigeria at that time to be making, and then I found out that I'm not the one doing this style of music in Nigeria. So there were other people, and I remember that's how I met Higo, DOZ, Sosa. In fact, that group chat eventually became the first musical collective I was part of. That's how I met Santi, Ojunsi, Lady Donley, um, literally everybody from that scene, and then seeing how it's played out since then. Um,
Yeah.
and fun fact, I now actually met the one of the guys from who used to work at SoundCloud when um it had that period that it was doing a lot for music online, and he was talking about how I think the 2016 period was like there was a noticeable uptick in its popularity, and a lot of people, um, a lot of acts now who are kind of like staples were established on SoundCloud. So shout out to them. But
Yeah, shout out to SoundCloud. SoundCloud is definitely, you can't really talk about this kind of generation of Nigerian music without mentioning the importance of SoundCloud and what it did for building working relationships and just helping people like develop their sound. So yeah. I'm curious as well because I know you've worked with a lot of these artists that you mentioned, like Odunsi and Santi, and you work with Tay, you've worked with Alo, and not just like work with them one off, you've worked with them over time, over projects, over the years. Why do you think you've been able to develop such a good working relationship with these different types of artists, these different types of sounds, but you're still able to kind of find ways to enter their world, but also bring your sound into it?
mm, I think it's just getting chemistry with some of these people. Like you can have good working chemistry or you can have good chemistry in general. And I feel like I had good chemistry upon meeting a lot of these people. And then from there, the working chemistry kind of took over. Um, but yeah, I think finding common ground and okay, if we have one thing, we both like maybe I like jazz and you also like jazz, but I'm not really a fan of I don't know, maybe like techno and you don't really but you love techno. I think the bridge would be we find a way to go from jazz to techno. But basically that's how I would work it out. If I had to meet somebody halfway and then make something that's authentic to both parties, it would be finding common ground musically.
Okay. Um, as well with like the development of your sound. I know when you first started, I mean, you still do, but you were producing at like a really crazy rate, right? Like the
Double.
Kanye 10 beats a day for 3 summers type of grind where you're just in the lab constantly. How
Mhm.
did you develop that kind of work ethic? And how did it also help you in terms of developing your sound quickly? Because I feel like you had a signature sound pretty early on with like again the use of piano and you had certain like tricks or not vocals, sounds that you were like signature to you, like birds, for example, and things like that.
Love
How,
birds.
yeah, I know. How were you able to develop that work ethic and then how did that now translate into your sound being able to develop?
Well, the 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 Kanye 10 beats a day for sorry 3 beats a day for 3 summers or whatever he said. Um, I think at that point, it was a combination of like joblessness and procrastination because I was in uni and I would rather be making music than reading law textbooks. So it was one of those things where I do a little bit of reading, and then when I couldn't stomach anymore, I just gotta make beats. And then if I was making beats, I was like, oh, 2 hours have passed. I should go back to read. Nah, I got 2 more hours and I do more. Like, so I was just overcompensating, not wanting to do one thing with music. But then it now made me realize that music is, I mean, creating music is something I could definitely become obsessed with. And then I did become obsessed with it. So I was just making music all the time. If I wasn't making music, I was hearing music in my head to make later. So it was a habit that kind of fed itself. And I wouldn't know or wasn't cognizant of the fact that it was making me curate my own personal sound. The sound selection, what I liked, what rims sounded nice with what snares, what kicks would go with this and the other, just like the sonic texture that I like. So that's what it ended up doing because I was not making Afrobeats. I was not making Afrobeats, but I was doing everything else. I was doing house, I was doing disco, I was doing pop, I was doing jazz, I was doing trap, literally everything but Afrobeats. So I kind of just built a sonic identity. So if I was doing jazz, it was me doing jazz. If I was doing trap, you would have a feeling, oh, this might be Mav. So yeah, that's where that work ethic came from and what it gave me.
It's so funny that it came from you dodging uni work because I feel
Like
like
mad.
that's actually such a good way to become productive at something else. Because that, for me, was like writing. And then when I started getting into marketing stuff, it's like, yeah, I don't feel like doing law shit right now. So it
The
really be
right,
like that.
the right, the good habits will find you from the bad habits. But
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Always take the good with the bad. So we had a conversation a little while ago, and you were explaining to me that now, because you've been producing really for over 10 years now, that you see it like it's a literal game. And it's a game that you figured out, you know how to play it. And I really wanted to get you like on the record to kind of expand on that concept because I found it so interesting in how you view music in a way that maybe doesn't necessarily relate to like music, but you're viewing it through another lens. And through that lens, it's helping you still be able to iterate and come up with new and exciting sounds and putting things together in different ways. So if you could kind of just expand on that concept.
I think I met um was it 2022? Yeah. I met some guy from 20 older guy. I think he's probably in his 40s or 50s. And he was a producer for some big, I don't know if it was a band or a duo or something back in the day. Like, because I met him at a party and like people like kind of knew him. And it was one of those like London artsy parties. Like very artsy. Like it was so artsy that I got shocked at the one babe did like a performance, was it performance art or whatever. And then she took her top off and everybody was like, oh, it's that kind of party. And I was like, ah, okay. So anyway, in the intermission before the next person performing, I met this guy and we started talking. My friend told him I was the producer, and they started asking me like questions and about mixing. And at the time, I did not know how to mix. And he was like, you might want to invest in that, bro. So funny enough, now that's what I mean, it's helping a lot. But he said something. It takes 8 years to become a master at something. Like in a profession, in any field. If you do it consistently enough, around that 8 year mark is where you get mastery in the thing. Now, mastery doesn't necessarily mean that everything will suddenly just work out for you, but it does mean that everything will now make sense. Like you start you now definitively know what you don't know, which is I mean that the nuance between that knowing what you don't know and knowing what you know is very important for a musician because like I used to think because I had, for example, I have perfect pitch. So if I hear a note, I can match it. So that plus active listening, which is like a skill you pick up if you work in with music or even just listen to music intently. Um, I used to think my ears were better than the next man through. Like I was like, no, no, trust me, is this. Especially if they were like, let's say a note was dissonance, and I'd be like, no, this is the wrong note. And if I know it's the right note, I was like, no, it's not sitting well. And then eventually we'd find out like, oh, damn, it wasn't the right note. I was like, yeah, I knew. But yeah, so I had this kind of like, I won't say superiority complex, but I just really trusted my ears. So when the guy was telling me all these things, I now started to think, okay, what don't I know? I didn't know mixing. I didn't know music theory. Well, theoretically, I knew it intrinsically, but I didn't know it theoretically. And I said, okay, let me try and start focusing on things I didn't know. That's when shit started like moving. That's when I learned how to mix. I learned how to record people. I learned how to write songs. Basically everything in music that I wasn't really doing because I was just making beats. And then I now understood what he meant. Like, okay, wow, I had spent so long making beats in such a way that when I now started to learn everything else, it came very easy. Like I learned how to mix quite quickly. I learned how to write songs also quite quickly. Like, and I think just because I've been working with um a lot of talented people from different like backgrounds, and I kind of had like proof of concept because when I travel or leave Niger and I go and meet other producers from around the world who've worked on like crazy big projects or work with like the Justin Bieber's or whatever, and then I play my beats and they're listening and like the reactions were always the same. I'm like, okay, so this is what he meant. You become a master in your field. Anybody who's reached that level can hear what you're doing, even if you know your accolades might not be, they might have just worked with somebody that you haven't, but does not mean that you are not on that level sonically or in the same neighborhood. So yeah, that was a definitive like and core memory. So when I was telling you like, oh, I understand now, like I see it like a game. It was like all those experiences. Some other people I met in LA too, same thing, who have been working in music for years, who have the people I dream of working with, they're tired of working with them. So it's like the it's a game. You do all of this to get to that level and realize like, oh, there's still more. So then, people get to that point, they now think, okay, am I gonna be making beats while I'm 50? No. So it's like, what is the next challenge? And then you see people start focusing on community or building platforms or providing value in other ways other than just creating music purely. So yeah, that's what um expanding on what you asked, that's what I've come to find out.
No, I think it's great, especially the fact that you said you have to focus on what you didn't know and what you weren't doing, because that's how you now become so much more well-rounded as not just an artist, but even just a person, right? Being able to challenge yourself and take on new skills. And I actually want to hone in on songwriting because I know that's something that you've really been doing. Like you weren't doing it in the first half of your career, but you've definitely taken on the past few years. You referenced your first musical collective, which is Ado Sounds. And I know you're also part of another musical collective or duo with Tay and Gold. And you have a lot of songwriting credits under Gold as well. And I was really curious about just your process of going through songwriting, how it worked, working with someone like Tay, who I think is also a really fantastic songwriter. Um, what were those experiences like for you from the start? And then how did you now feel yourself really like growing and developing into that, maybe like on the second project you guys did when you've now had more experience under your belt?
Mm. um T as a songwriter is damn near untouchable, man. Like that guy is crazy. And I
Yeah,
think
man.
working with him really set the bar high for me in that like I said, all these things because Tay studied music in university. He went to SAE, yeah. And then he he studied what's it called? Sound engineering, audio engineering, yeah. So he knew how to mix professionally, like his mixes, even from back then, were already crisp. Um, so working with him closely, and I mean that metaphorically because we never actually entered the studio together, but working with him that frequently, just when you're exposed to that level of quality, that becomes your baseline. So I almost became snobbish. Like I wouldn't work with some people because I'm like, your shit is not clean, bro. Like, it's not clean like this. But then realizing that was like an unfair comparison for the person and also for me because I'm limiting myself from a new experience. But yeah. So when the songwriting thing, the songwriting credits, it's funny because it's more of a suggestion than me actually like writing full lyrics to a song. Then the first project, yeah, the first project. The second project is when I actually did a bit more, and at this point I've been writing my own songs. But yeah, the first project, I think the first song that I had credits on for writing was Stranger with Tay, this one on his project. And the only reason I had credits is because I called the beats Stranger. Yeah, I called the beat Stranger because the song that inspired me to make that beat was called Strange Things. And I think art is just creative imitation. Like whatever you see, how can you then reinterpret it as your own? So me interpreting the song Strange Things into Stranger, Tay now takes that beat with the title, and now the song, the lyric was Stranger in my head. Can I get my hands in those jeans? I'm like, how did you took what I did, took the prompt, and you just ran with it. So that's how I kind of got my first foray into songwriting. And I realized, okay, wow, you really just take an idea and then create a story from that. Um and I realized like because I used to write short stories, and I realized short songwriting is just like a very, very, very stripped down version of that. You're still telling a story and it's still short. In fact, it's even shorter now. And that limitation of not having the space to be verbose is what makes a good song. Like if you say a lot without really saying too much, then yeah, you're really inside. So yeah, that was how I got into songwriting. And then obviously the mixing helped too because I started recording myself. And as I'm recording myself, I mean nobody's writing these songs except me. So it became a practice of if I make a beat, automatically I'd be thinking of what's this emotion that I'm feeling, what would the listener be feeling, what would then fit lyrically as that emotion, or what would then be a good contrast if I didn't want to make it fit exactly. And just these little nuances, man. So now it's like to the point where I'm like, okay, wow, I enter sessions and when the artist is trying to come up with words or we get to maybe they might have the first verse down. Second verse, by then I have given them the opening line, a new concept, new way of thinking about how the song is going to progress. And I'm like, damn, okay, we're actually writing songs now with people and then for ourselves. But yeah, that is it.
I mean, there's no better person probably to learn songwriting from than Tay. So it makes a lot of sense that, like you said, the quality became that baseline and just kind of helped you to understand. It's not super complex, but it's like you said, how can you say a lot without saying too much? Because I feel like the most brilliant songwriters are able to, they have a really good
Mm-hmm.
economy of words where they're
That's
able
it.
to, yeah, they're able to say a lot in a space that's quite small. So I think it's dope that you've been taking it on and also songwriting more and, looking forward to hearing more of what you're going to do. But I also wanted to harp on what you said about art just being kind of creative reinterpretation. Who are some of the artists you look up to or look towards that you've tried to do your own kind of interpretation of like what they do?
Let me just go with more recently because the older. Okay, I can actually start older. The oldest inspiration I had, sorry, for production, Kanye West, like that was just that guy. Kanye, not Ye. I don't know who Ye is, but Kanye
I
was
hear it. Yeah.
nah. Kanye was special, man. Um, the late registration, the beats, the sampling, and because at the time I started listening to Kanye West, I had an appreciation for hip hop as a culture and as a genre, and this came from not listening to hip hop at the time because I didn't really like I don't like. I mean, I understand its place now, but I did not understand the point of me listening to somebody rap if it wasn't proper, like if it's not growing me as a person. So I didn't like
You did that conscious shit.
I needed conscious rap like mad. I could not even agree that Lil Wayne was the best rapper in the world because I'm like, oh, he's just saying words, bro.
Guy,
Like,
let's not start fighting. Let's not start fighting now. You know that's
I
my guy. You know that's my guy.
beg your guy needs help. It's not by like the difference between consuming a dictionary and consuming an encyclopedia. Because at least an encyclopedia will be contextual. A dictionary is just words. So I'm like, okay, cool. But if you now then have the wordplay and the wit and whatever, but you can now string together a complex story in a simple way, I'm like, okay, that's beautiful. So obviously, I love Lupe Fiasco. And then I realized again, this is the cultural aspect, which made it interesting to me as somebody who wasn't born in American culture, even though I did come up in the culture, is that regional rap really defined what you would rap about. So the conscious rappers I enjoyed were mostly from Chicago. So it was like Common, Mos Def, Talib Kweli, um, Kanye, Lupe Fiasco. So it was just like, you people, it's only you guys that are doing this. I found out that on the other coast, that was also West Coast. Like there was a subgenre of West Coast rap that was just like also purely conscious, even though they had the whole like swag and everything. But so yeah, that's what I gravitated towards. And then when I now discovered Kanye, because the first rapper I actively listened to was Common, and I found out Lupe Yasko, and I literally dropped Common. I was like, okay, Lupe, you're the truth. And then I heard Kanye West, and I was like, who is this guy? Because it was like it was conscious, but it wasn't overly conscious. Like it wasn't preaching. It felt very.
He was entertaining.
It was entertaining, but it was also like it wasn't low level entertainment. It was like this is artistic. Like he's
Yeah.
actually. It's not a gimmick. It's not just wordplay for the sake of wordplay. Like this is like higher arts in my mind. I was like, who's this guy? And this giant teddy bear. So graduation, I was obsessed with that album. In fact, I had many like pivotal moments to with that album. One Flashing Lights is my favorite like Kanye West song of all time. That song is incredible. Like the
Yeah.
arrangement, everything. So I think I've remade that beat like 5 or 6 times. When I first heard it, I was like, what is this? Trying to get all the strings right, the arrangement, everything. So yeah, Kanye was definitely the person I emulated a lot. Just Blaze, No ID, Timberland. Timberland had an insane run where he was doing pop, he was doing R&B, he was doing hip hop, he was doing everything. And I was like, I want to be like that. Like I want to be able to enter any room and be like, okay, this is what we're doing. So those are like my earlier influences. And then as more people come up and come into their own and create like special sounds, you have producers like Pierre. Oh God, I love Pierre, man. From the
Bro, Pierre
tag
is the
to
truth.
yeah, goated, goated. Like it. Obviously, like I said, when I started embracing what I didn't know, because I eventually did see. I think the song that made me like Lil Wayne was it was 6 for 7 for the first time. I was like, okay, hey, stick to this, bro. Like this is cool, catchy. And then I heard Nightmare from the bottom. I was like, so you can't be deep. I
Oh
was
my
like,
god.
I just needed to know that he could do it, not because like, bruh.
I'm gonna make a
But
list of
yeah,
songs for
so
you to listen to because you're missing out on some of
okay,
his gems. I'm gonna make a list of songs for you to listen to.
I'm okay. I'm actually quite good. But yeah, so that was happening, and then yeah, I think Pierre, who else is a crazy producer? Monte Booker. Ah, Monte Booker went gridless. Part of the SoundCloud guys, man. And that's what I'm saying. Like the SoundCloud changed a lot sonically for Nigerians, but also for the world because so many people are now finding out that wait, so it's not just radio music that's nice. Like all the stuff that they would labels are pushing. So that's what you will be hearing. Because what the beats Monte Booker was making, they were not at that point in my life. I never heard anything like that. So literally these were all novel experiences for me. So yeah, those producers, Lido, this producer on called Where's Alex, and again these are producer forward. These are basically producer artists because the songs what they were doing, they were just making beats and posting the beats on SoundCloud, and they had the audience. There was no artist except them. So well, Monte eventually linked up with Smino, and then you see what that did.
Yeah,
But
for
yeah,
sure.
so those are my KRS too. Oh god, KRS man, legend as well, Jamaican legend. But yeah, so that's. I mean, if I think of any more,
No, it's a good
nah, I can't
range
think of it.
though. It's a really wide range of sounds and influences to pull from, and it kind of explains even your music a bit more because no one can say like, oh, you just stick to one genre or to one because you even make
Ah,
music. What?
just reminded me. I forgot my R&B niggas. Um, D
Uh-huh.
Mile. D
Yeah,
Mile is insane. D Mile is probably the craziest R&B producer I've ever like properly listened to. Knowledge is dope. Not what Knowledge has been doing with Anderson Paak, crazy.
fire.
Uh, but yeah, a nice range. I like some of the pop producers too. The pop producers, that Jack Antonoff guy, dangerous white boy.
Bro, he's actually built different. Like he can just do anything, which is
Anything,
kind of
yeah,
insane.
anything. Ludwig,
Oh yeah,
because I met,
Ludwig as well.
and I kind of I didn't know who he was before, but then when my friend gave me his profile, I had to go back to him and be like, I didn't know you were. I was not familiar with your taste. Yeah, very bad man. But but yeah, that's what I can think of right now.
Yeah, man.
Mm.
I got put onto Ludwig because of Childish
Jesus,
Gambino.
I'm so sorry. I forgot the Nigerians too. Mad
See,
with
bro, no, it's just like it shows the wide, like how many different places there are to pull from, though. But yeah, name some of the Nigerian.
on Jazzy, SARS, Spells, Beats by J. May he rest in peace. That's crazy because when I was in high school, one guy who was an artist got like a few beats from Beats by J, and I remember hearing them at that time and be like, "Oh my god, will I ever get to this level?" And this is like me in high school before I even thought that I wanted to do music properly, and I was hearing Beats by J's beats, and I was like, "This guy is a genius, man." But yeah, Beats by J, rest in peace. Who else? Yeah, I mean, those are the OGs for me. Um, SARS, man, SARS is one of one.
Yeah,
SARS is one.
nah. SARS is actually crazy, man. Like I still want him to just put out even more stuff because
Like, yeah,
he's
bro,
so
his
good.
album. I haven't even heard I've heard like what 3 or 4 songs, but that guy, I'm just like, bro, how? And then actually working with him and seeing how meticulous he is, I was like, okay, that thing I discovered about the obsession, I thought I was obsessed. I didn't. So any people I've heard, they are very obsessed with what they're doing. Like they sleep, wake up, eat, rinse and repeat music. Like to get to that level, ridiculous.
That actually leads me to a question that literally just popped into my head where I know there's that popular debate of who's better, Nigerian producers or American producers, like a SARS versus Metro Boomin type, those dumb online conversations. But I'm actually curious on your perspective of what
SARS.
really makes Nigerian, well, I believe it's SARS as well, but like what makes Nigerian producers so special
It's
where,
because Nigeria. It's if you think about Nigeria's actual identity or an actual cultural identity is a mix of so many different things. Is Nigeria a Yoruba country? Is Nigeria an Igbo country? Is Nigeria a Hausa country? Is Nigeria an American country? All these things are true. Like we grew up listening to hip hop in Nigeria. It's playing on the radio. So I don't think Metro Boomin was growing up listening to Elelelelele music or whiskey, any of that. So you don't have it. You don't have it in your psyche as an American producer. You because you were never exposed to that type of bounce before. So it's like, but we were exposed to all types of shit. We were hearing the R&Bs, we're hearing that. We heard it so much, we even mixed it with our own vibes. Like we had, if you gotta listen to like old Paul Play, that was R&B. Like that's pure R&B. It's beautiful. So when people talk about that argument, I'm like, as somebody who creates music, I can make a hip hop beat in my sleep because I've listened to so much hip hop. Because I love it so much I entered the culture myself. But Afro beats to the world is a lot of American producers' first time hearing Afro. So obviously you're immediately at a disadvantage. Bro, how are you gonna make what you've never heard before? Or you're just hearing? You can't do that. And Afro beats seems easy to make.
it's not,
Seems easy to make.
it's very
Afro beat,
complex.
I promise you, is harder to make than trap. Because it takes a little and you've entered Afro swing. It takes a little and you've entered Afro pop. It takes a little, you've entered Latin music. So that needle of what Afro beats is, if you don't live in the culture, right? And there are different types. There's the legwork guys, there's Afro piano, there's like whatever we call Afro beats, but like everybody has their own interpretation. But I find the best ones are the ones that come here. And even when I find Western producers making dope Afro beats, if I go and check the beats, the drums are not purely them. They have somebody helping them from this side. Like I remember hearing Sensational, I thought it was a white producer that made it. It was not. It was obviously the Nigerian guy. You dumb. And I like, yeah, even British producers, yeah, if they're making dope Afro-esque music, the producers are usually Nigerian or Ghanaian. So it's like a heritage thing. You can't not grow up in that environment. I mean, yeah, you can Metro can therefore make an Afro beat, but it will be trash. That's why
Yeah.
if you it will be trash. Like, but have you heard SARS literally started with hip hop beats?
Oh yeah,
SARS
yeah, I know. Yeah.
like so I'm like, bruh, come on. That argument is not that Metro is a trash producer, but I'm like, he does not have the range, and it's not his fault. Because
No,
I
no,
the
everything you're saying is true.
yeah.
It's super true. Cause like, I mean, as I grew up in America, so I did not grow up hearing the Style Plus and yeah, I didn't grow up listening to all of that. And I'm really grateful that at least I moved when I moved to Niger, it was like just when a bunch of artists were starting to blow up. So like Olamide, Wiz,
Mm,
Davido, Burna, like this modern run of Niger. I was there from like the very beginning, so I was able to experience that. And it's just crazy because it's like you said, first of all, Afrobeats is really sonically complex. And there's no like your brain as a Westerner will not even go to these combinations of sounds, these tempos, these drums, because you have no baseline exposure for it at all. It's just not possible.
mhm.
So it always blows my mind just how talented Nigerian producers are because even now you're seeing with the younger generation where they're doing like their own spin on the underground rap stuff that's blowing up with like Yeet and the stuff that Cardi popularized, but they're putting their own spin on it, and it's crazier than anything you're gonna hear. So yeah, I think you're right. It's just they don't have that exposure, they don't have the range, and it's not their fault. It's just how things are culturally. But to me, that's also why Nigerian producers are like the best in the world, just because they're able to synthesize all these sounds and really put their own unique spin on it, and it's crazy.
Because bruh, I don't want to just say like it's Nigerian producers. If you find any producers who on the diaspora, and I guess that's maybe not diaspora specifically, but you come from a culture where there is a diaspora,
Mm.
even if you're not necessarily part of it. Because you're living in two worlds, whether you like it or not, as an African, you are living in your Africa, but your Africa is built on the skeleton is African, but the skin is Western. So like you have why you wearing a suit? Like why you wearing a suit in Niger? What? But our sensibilities are very much Western in a lot of aspects, like the way we consume media. For example, if you look at our ads and American ads, I mean, American ads have gone far, but like we definitely picked up our sense of marketing from America. Like, so yeah, we are culturally walking two lines. So if you also have music, yeah, you're going as an African producer, because I had to learn Afrobeat, so and I was born here, but I had to learn how to do it from um African producers. So yeah, it's something you have to become inundated with. You have to basically immerse yourself in the culture. And I know this because one of my friends, Johnny, amazing producer, he's German, but he can do Africa drums, man. Why? Because he actually spends time studying them and breaking them down as a percussionist. Like he'll go and find the original. Um, he has a calabash in his room, bro. Like Shekere, he has it. Like he has it. So he's hands-on learning. Like, oh wow, this is crazy. But yeah, you need that kind of. If you're not exposed to the culture like that, then you need that level of devotion to find and bridge that gap. But yeah, almost. Hey, media training is paying off.
That was good. Nice one. Nice one. Do you think you could pick, is it even possible to pick like your top three favorite songs that you've produced?
No, I hate them all.
You hate them all.
I'm joking. I don't hate them all. I don't. I've rinsed them. All the songs that are out, I've rinsed all of them. And it's funny. Last year when I was doing not Spotify rap because I don't use Spotify. It's for plebs. My Apple Music
You're
replay.
wearing a Spotify cap.
Oh, oh no, my bad. I don't use the app shop. And it's United
Same to be
Masters,
fair. Same to
United
be fair.
Masters, and Spotify. I'm screaming. You can edit that out. Yeah, you're good. but yeah, call it a spade, man. That interface is cool, but the sound quality is
Yeah.
anyways. Apple Music, the replay. I had three. I'm sorry, my top five artists. The first was Mickey. I love him. He's crazy. The second was Elijah Fox, also crazy. And the third was me. I don't know if that makes me narcissistic, but I raised that project Boost Go to. Oh no. I loved every song on that project. 10, 10. I got 10 stars for everyone. So to answer your question, my top five songs I've ever produced. Simple Things, Rocksteady, Get Down, Heat. And I ain't gonna lie, man. Feel Something with Somalina. I love that song, Die. Because there's no drums.
Banger.
It's pure,
Yeah.
pure acoustic, pure pain, just pure emotions in that song. You're not distracted by anything. So that would be my answer.
Okay.
But
Okay. I feel that. I feel that.
is it
I
cool
don't
if
even, what'd you say?
I play guitar? My hands are
Oh,
being.
you want to play? In fact, yeah, go for it. Go for
No, I mean, can keep talking. I just want to be pressing something.
it. See, you literally cannot go what like an hour without making some music. It's crazy.
Okay. Like mine. Hey.
So if you're gauging, I feel you guys need to watch this on YouTube. Do you have a name?
For the
Do you
guitar?
name your instruments? Yeah.
Yeah, but it's giving terrible father because I keep forgetting. So I
Oh my god.
like mad. It's so bad. I know they all start with M because her math, but I can't for life of me remember what I called this one. So we just call it M2.
Okay, M2.
But yeah.
So
Anyway.
yeah, near the end of last year, end of September, you put out a song called "Are You There?" And I guess it's kind of full circle because it's you releasing like instrumental electronic music, kind of taking it back to how you first started. And I wanted to know why you kind of made that decision, like what led to you putting out the record, and how it's been kind of just being in that space where you're creating songs again and hopefully putting like even more out.
Mm, these are very good questions, man. You should do this professionally. Oh wait, you
Thanks, bro.
um yeah. Are you there? I was fed up again. Ah, God, gold one, I was fed up. Gold two, I was fed up. This song out. I just need to get to a point where I have no other option than to crash out, but crash out musically. So I was fed up with the whole producer thing of being just a producer because God bless artists, man, but it's a lot. So I was like in a space where how can I create more value for myself? Because I'm lucky with my history with Tay that the projects we've done is me and him. Like my name is there too. So I've built somewhat of a personal brand as a producer who has his own music, not just somebody who produces for other people. So I just wanted
Yeah.
to leverage that more. And I see the world heading in the direction of like dance music. Like, and it never really left because so I've been started DJing and I've been entering the world of performing as a DJ. Realizing that dance music has always been and will always be in demand, like always. Doesn't matter what type of dance music it is, as long as people can dance, you are good. So I felt like, okay, how can I mix my musical heritage of like online electronic music and my newfound appreciation for like Afro beats? So that's how Are You There came about. And then to touch on what I mentioned before about the things I don't know, what I don't know is social media. That's not my cup of tea at all. But understanding now that the landscape is very different from back then. Um, back then I barely promoted myself, but because there wasn't really much happening anyway, it didn't matter. But now something is always happening every time. So like if you don't constantly promote yourself, it's like the people that already know you and love your sound, yeah, they'll hear you, but like that's it. You're not getting any new body listening to your music if you're not constantly promoting it. And that's just exhausting because it's like, But yeah, so that's what kind of led me into this point. And I wanted to like force the issue myself because now I'm putting out music that's just me, no Tay. I have to be the one to support it and actually like promote it, find out what I'm gonna do to in the get it to the ears of the people that would appreciate it. So yeah, that's what prompted that.
Okay. Okay. And I love that you mentioned that you're DJing as well, because that's something I did want to talk about. Where where I'm really curious as to like what the interplay has been like with production and DJing. Because like you said, you saw the world moving towards dance music and you felt like, okay, this is something I can do and put my own
Mhm.
spin on. And then of course DJing just requires different skills. It's engaging different sides of your brain. So what has that process been like as you've been, I guess, developing those skills and still working on your own music?
Bro, when I say that, I've been humbled. I didn't think DJing was easy. I just thought it can't be harder than producing. Boy, was I wrong. like, like, wow. Wow. Because as a producer, if you make a mistake, you're very quickly able to fix it in private. Like, I mean, if the session is just you, bro, nobody's gonna hear that wrong note you hit or whatever. But as a DJ, bro, if you play a song, it's like instant haptic feedback. You can feel the room just look at you like, why you play this? so,
Yep.
so, so that alone, oh, shout out to all my DJ friends, man. It's not easy, bro. It's not easy. I remember the first show, the first thing I DJ'd at was a house party in LA. And because I decided for the entire night, I'm just gonna play my unreleased project. So it was cool because I've rinsed that project so much. I know it like the back of my hand. So I was doing all the transition, everything cool. And then I was so gassed when people came up to me after and they were like, "Oh, I was trying to jam these songs, but it's not gonna." I was like, "Oh, it's all unreleased." I'm there feeling like I can DJ, bro. That's how I started accepting gigs. The next thing I did was another party in LA, but this time I didn't play my projects. I tried to play other stuff, bro. I bombed.
Oh God.
I bombed, but I had to now like lie that the equipment wasn't working. That shit was working fine. That shit was working fine. But oh my God. So after that, I was like, wow, it's really not even just about the music. The music is the last thing. The first thing is you're controlling people's vibes in real time. So if you don't actually know what songs do, because you can love a song, right? And think, oh, this is the best song in the world. And this song gets me so hype. But you're like literally one of 6,000 people that find this song hype, and you go and play it thinking everybody's gonna be gassed. Brother, news for you. So yeah, DJing has been an interesting challenge. And the more I do, the more I'm like, okay, yeah, I actually do enjoy it because you also as a producer, I get to test on release tracks. And that is the best part. When you play something they know, then you play something they don't know. And that switch from being familiar to unfamiliar is quite mad to see. But yeah, man. Shout out to the DJs, bro.
Shout out to the DJs, man. I've had a couple DJs on the show recently. Shout out to Jess, shout out to Aniko, because I've been just,
Oh, my boss.
man, I've been so interested in just DJing as a skill because, like you said, it's instant haptic feed. Like, if you fuck up, immediately they're gonna let you know you fucked up. And you can see a
Especially
party
in
go
the
from,
crowd. Ha!
yeah, you can go from 100 to zero so quickly. And even just learning from them and hearing how they might go in with like a couple songs they want to play, but they're doing it in real time and just responding to the audience. I'm like, man, you guys are actually built different because it's so
Bro.
tough. And as an enjoyer of just live music, I love a great DJ set. So I definitely have mad respect for the DJs. But at the same time, it's like once you have a bad DJ, you don't forget that night. It's like it sticks into your it sticks in your mind as a bad. So I'm glad as well, like you've been able to kind of understand the difficulty, but then it's still like you're just applying yourself to keep getting better and progressing at it. So I know you're gonna get to like that top level.
Amen. God bless you. I remember one thing that did discourage me though. I went for one party and I didn't think the DJ was bad. I just thought he was like just there. But now over here somebody saying we should burn the DJ. I was like, was that a threat to life? Like, is this a dangerous job? Like, what do you mean we should burn the DJ? Oh man,
Oh,
people are crazy.
yo,
People are,
people are actually nuts, bro. Oh my
what do you mean?
God.
What do you mean we? Who's we?
Uh, oh
Yeah.
my God. Nah, that's hilarious. But yeah, it gets that serious for some people. Like a bad DJ, because a bad DJ can just fuck up your whole night. So, man, shout out to the DJs for real. But please, no violence against the DJs, guys.
No, stop DJ violence.
So before we start talking about like what you have coming next, I always ask my guests for advice for the listeners. And the
Mm.
question I wanted to ask you is how can producers protect their interests and intellectual property? Because as I know you know, being a producer is a music the music industry is just dirty to begin with. And producers are probably done the worst out of everybody because people just don't value what you guys bring to the table necessarily. And I know you've seen a lot of Shege in the industry, a lot. So I know this would be a perfect question if you just have some basic tips that someone who was in the same position you were, like maybe 8, 9 years ago, how they can take steps to protect their interest when dealing with people.
I, I just want to start by saying sorry for the laugh. And secondly, and I say this in all seriousness, quit while you're ahead. like, if you don't love this music shit, quit while you're ahead. Like, if you're thinking you're doing it because it makes you interesting or fun, brother, quit. It's not for you. Because there's one of my mom's friend, her son, he's much younger than me. One day my mom comes and she's like, hey, this is your she brings this nigga to me and she's like, look, this is your big brother. Take you're responsible for him now. You want to do music? I was like, whoa. I just met you, bro. But he's a cool guy. Now he's a dope producer. Um, but yeah. I remember thinking, what can I do for him? I need all the help I can get. So, but then starting to actually like talk to him and share. I just tried to fill in the holes that I had or I imagined he would have when I was at his level. So I struggled with finding like high quality enough drums. So I literally changed this whole nigga whole life. Like I gave him well, I didn't change his broke nigga's life. But I gave this guy premium drums, man. Drums that took me years to get. Like I don't think I had drums that good until like my um fourth year as a producer. And this nigga got his year one. So I'm like, obviously his upside is crazy. Cause bro,
Yeah, fact.
the next year of having those drums, I mean he sent me one beat. I was like, who's this? He's like, it's me. I was like, huh? This is you? Oh, the young shot grew. The young shot grew. But yeah, so my advice uh to younger producers, I mean older, if you're older than me, I was looking for advice, you don't misread. But my advice to anybody who's starting, if you don't love it, quit while you're ahead. But if you do love it, find your community, man. Because when you get fucked over, and you will get fucked over, it's your people that are also being fucked over that will lift you up until eventually somebody overcomes, and then what I think Davido says, we rise by lifting others. But yeah, I think in terms of um protecting your IP, focus on um split sheets. Splits, have everything on an email thread in writing. Even if people say, yeah, Drew, trust me, I don't trust you. I don't really trust myself, bro. Why am I trusting you? Have everything in writing. Um, don't I mean I still love this in an ideal world, you wouldn't need to do any of this, but like you definitely have to pay your dues though as a beginning producer. You do a lot of thankless work for free. And then you do thankless work for less money than you should. And then you do thankless work for money that you're like, oh, okay, this is acceptable until you find out somebody that's getting more for less. But yeah, all these things are like the point is you need to love it to survive all of this. Like that's my advice. Find your fire, Abdi. Whoever is
No,
called.
that's good advice, honestly, because music, especially more than other disciplines, especially just because of how the industry operates, I feel like it will test your love and
Mm-hmm.
it will really make you think like, why am I actually here doing this? And if you can't, articulate that, then it's probably not for you, especially if you're looking to do it at a serious professional level, right? So, I mean, I agree. And I feel like community has also been a recurring theme with a lot of the advice that's been shared from recent guests I've had, where if you can find that community, find that group of people to kind of surround yourself with, like you said, lift each other up. Because, for example, Higo, DOZ, like you guys all kind of started in the same places. And as you guys have all built yourselves up as pros, right? you continue helping each other out, putting each other onto opportunities, supporting each other, and you're growing together. So, it's dope to see that. And I feel like, yeah, if you're a young artist, look for like-minded people with that same type of love and work ethic for what you do, and
On
build and
your
grow
level,
with them.
on your level,
Yeah,
though. Because what people do is they can't find people ahead of them. Bro, somebody ahead of you in a race is not going to want to turn back. And then you start
facts.
getting mad at them for not trying to help you out. Like, nigga, would you help you? so, so like, make yourself helpable. Don't just be there expecting handouts. Nothing is free. But yeah, your tribe will definitely cover a lot of your weaknesses. And shout out to my boys Higo and DOZ and Sosa and David and Harry, 80 Sounds.
Shout out to the whole 80 Sounds gang, man. Shout out to everybody. So yeah, what do you have coming next? I know at any given moment there's hella unreleased with you. What can we anticipate coming for the rest of 2025? More solo work? Uh, any exciting production credits you want to share? Just let us know what's coming.
I don't want to be perceived, I can't lie. So I ain't got shit for y'all. Like, whatever you see, take it like that, man. I spend most of my time just playing guitar now. It's so funny. There's an artist I'm working with closely, and every time she comes, she's like, all right, what do you have for me? And because I met her in the middle of her heartbreak, and the first song we wrote together, we spent like 7 hours writing it. And the chorus is friends with benefits, but this friend know the benefits. I was like, oh girl, who hurt you? And since that day, I've been begging her to heal. She has refused to heal. So we continue making beautiful, like heartbreak music. But I think for me right now, what I'm doing is just enjoying music for me. So I don't really care about the outside or like putting it out. I mean, it'll come out when I was ready. But right now, I was even talking to one of my friends who he got signed as a producer. And then we had like a deep conversation. It's like, bro, how do I fall in love with this shit again? Because now it just feels like work. You just get briefs. And I remember I entered that when I go into my publishing, I just began briefs, emails like, oh, this person needs this. Oh, this person needs this. Oh, Kanye is pissed off the Jews again. He needs something to make them happy. Da, da, da. And just like, this is a job now. Like, this is not fun. Like, why am I
Yeah.
doing? So I think we both got to that point. I just like, bro, I've reverted to making music for the sake of making music. So I don't really care about the whole, yeah, bro, we do this on blue. How many times? Like, how many times, bro? So I'm just
Nah,
like,
man.
and I think it also goes back to what that guy said. That's why I said, like, you really have to love this shit and do it because you love it, not because you're expecting a certain thing. And I love it because I've been meeting really talented people. Like, damn, Lagos has so many stars and gems. So it's just one of those things where what you can expect from me is that I'm going to continue enjoying my music. If you want to enjoy with me, you're welcome to. But I don't have any like real vision for what I want to put out or whatever outside of I'm just enjoying what I'm doing right now. So yeah.
Okay, no, I mean that sounds beautiful to me, and I'm glad that at the core of it, you're just enjoying making music and putting it out because that's what it all really comes down to. Like, if you can't enjoy it, there's no point in doing it.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, I also got to give you your flowers because you're my guy, but you're also one of the people that's really helped push this music shit forward in Nigeria for a lot of artists. And
Thanks, bro.
whenever it comes time to tell the story of this whole era and the run that it's been, you're one of the names that's going to be mentioned. So proud of you. Um, Thank you for coming on the show. Really appreciate you. Really appreciate you for real. And yeah, it's just been dope to talk with you, have it on the record. And yeah, man, I'm glad we were able to do this.
Likewise, bro. Bless you. Thank you for having me. Um, take it. How do I sign out? What do I say to the
Oh no,
people?
you could do. Actually, I mean, I know you say you don't want to be perceived. So, do you want to like drop any of your social media or where people can find your
Oh,
work?
oh no, you can perceive them. Those are just links. I ain't gonna be there. But but Twitter, IG, both are Lemav underscore LEMAV_. Thank God I have that at least. I forgot what my TikTok is. I think it's Mavi Mav because some guy took Lemav. Like, are you mad? But
Damn.
but yeah, that's it was me actually, but I got locked out of that one.
Oh, do you know the exact same thing happened to me? Like I made a TikTok, I somehow got locked out of it, then I had to make another one, and I've stolen my own handle. Bro,
Bro,
that shit is so annoying.
it's so stupid. Like,
So
wait, that
stupid.
nigga. That nigga's
I
me.
swear this me. Oh my god. Oh my. And I don't even think like because I did the same thing to myself on IG, but that one eventually expired, so I was able to change. I don't think it expires on
I've
TikTok.
only done
Like
it.
that thing is it's
I've
like
only done it
permanent.
once, so you only skill it.
Man.
That's crazy. Almost my G. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate you.
No worries, bro. No worries.